After years of being called the family's babysitter, my mom finally said, "If you want to live here, you'll have to start paying rent." I smiled, grabbed my bags, and drove off. A week later, my brother texted in panic. The credit card declined. "Did you forget the payment?" Without thinking twice, I shouted. After years of being treated like I was less than a guest in my own home, after being called the babysitter, the errand boy, the third parent without rights, my mom looked me dead in the eye in front of everyone and said the words I'll never forget. "If you want to keep living here, Dylan, you're going to have to start paying rent," and they all laughed. My brother, slouched on the couch like a king, didn't even pause his game. Camila giggled from the kitchen while pouring herself a glass of wine like this was some kind of sitcom, and I was the punchline. Even my mom smirked like she just dropped some wisdom I was supposed to be thankful for. But this wasn't new. The mocking, the guilt-tripping, the casual disrespect it had been building for years. I was 25. I had a full-time job, paid for more bills than anyone else in that house, cooked meals, cleaned messes I didn't make, and practically raised my brother's kids while he and Camila went out on date nights. That happened 3 times a week. I drove the twins to and from school, did their homework with them, packed their lunches, read them bedtime stories. But in that moment, none of it mattered. Not to them. All they saw was someone they could use. I stood there in the middle of the living room holding a laundry basket I never got to finish folding. And for once, I didn't try to explain myself. I didn't argue or beg or list everything I'd done. I just turned around, walked to my room, and grabbed my bags. No one followed me. They probably assumed I was being dramatic. But this wasn't drama. This was done. I didn't pack neatly. I shoved clothes into my duffel, unplugged my laptop, yanked chargers from the wall, grabbed my toiletries, and took the grocery and gas cards that were tied to my bank account. They'd had no problem swiping those every week without asking. Then I walked out. The hotel I found wasn't fancy, but it was quiet. No kids screaming, no one asking where their socks were. No one banging on the door because they needed a ride somewhere. I laid down on the bed and realized I hadn't heard silence like that in over 2 years. By morning, my phone was flooded with messages. "Mom, where did you go?" "Brother, you serious right now?" "Camila, we have plans tonight. Can you come back?" Even my sister, who lived out of state and hadn't called in 6 months, sent me a novel about family obligations. I didn't answer. I just ordered breakfast, streamed a movie, and started looking for a short-term rental. By the 5th day, I had one, a weekly place with a small kitchenette, enough room for me and only me. No toys on the floor, no spilled juice, no crusty dishes stacked in the sink. I made a grilled cheese and actually got to eat it hot. And that's when my phone buzzed again. It was my brother. The credit card got declined. "Did you forget the payment?" I stared at the message, blinked, then burst out laughing. Forget? No, I didn't forget. I just stopped. They were about to feel everything they thought they could dump on me. And this was only the beginning. The credit card declined. That one text told me everything I needed to know. They had no idea what I'd been covering. My brother thought the bills paid themselves, that groceries magically appeared in the fridge, that Amazon packages just showed up because he was lucky. Camila once bragged to her friend that she and my brother had figured it out financially. Yeah, by leeching off me. I never minded helping at first. When my brother and Camila had the twins, things got chaotic. I moved back home thinking it would be temporary. Then I got a remote job, started saving money, and figured why not stay a bit longer, help out. They were drowning with 2 kids and no clue how to parent. But over time, help became expectation. Expectation became duty. Duty became blame. When something went wrong, the Wi-Fi glitched, the fridge broke, someone missed the doctor's appointment. Somehow, it was always my fault. I became the backup plan for everything. Except now, I wasn't. I never replied to my brother's message. I just watched as the group chats exploded. "Why is the electricity bill past due?" "The internet isn't working." "I thought you renewed the car insurance." I tried to use the gas card, and it said insufficient funds. I did what they never expected. I stayed silent. The funniest part, most of the accounts were in my name. Not because I wanted control, because no one else would open them. Bad credit, too. Busy. No idea how. So guess who stepped up? Dylan. But Dylan was gone now. And so was his generosity. By day 7, my mom left a voicemail. Her tone had changed. "Dylan, honey, I think we all overreacted a bit. We should talk. Maybe come over for dinner. Everyone misses you." I almost choked on my coffee. Not one person had said a single apology. And now I was being lured back with a reheated casserole and fake smiles. Still, I agreed. Not because I missed them, not because I wanted to patch things up, but because I needed to see how far they'd fallen without me propping them up. So I said, sure, I'll come over. The house was different, tense, quiet. No background music, no smell of fresh food, no laughter. The lights were dimmer. One of the twins' toys was broken and still lying in the middle of the floor. Camila answered the door with a forced grin. My brother hovered behind her like a nervous waiter. My mom sat at the table with her phone face down, something she never did. Dinner started slow. Chicken, rice, store brand, soda. They chatted about normal stuff for a while. Weather, work, my sister's new boyfriend. The twins were conveniently at Camila's parents'. Then the tone shifted. My mom sighed, set her fork down, and said they'd been talking. That my leaving had made a point, but that I needed to understand one thing. You live here. You should contribute. That's just how families work. From there it spiraled. No logic, just noise. They said I owed them for letting me stay so long. That I had no right to act like a victim. That I was selfish. That I abandoned the kids. That my brother had to cancel a weekend trip because of me. 2 hours of this, and I didn't argue once. I just smiled, nodded, said I understood. Said I needed the bathroom before heading out. And I did. I went in, locked the door, turned the faucet on full blast so they wouldn't hear, and left a disaster. No flush, no wipe, didn't even close the lid. I made sure it reeked like a gas leak, fan off. Then I walked out, thanked them for dinner, and left. 40 minutes later, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. I picked up once. My mom was yelling, my brother yelling behind her, Camila gagging in the background. I said, maybe next time don't treat the one person holding your lives together like trash. Then I hung up, blocked the whole family on everything. They didn't get it, but they would. It didn't take long for the peace to feel addictive. My small weekly rental wasn't glamorous, but it was mine. No screaming kids, no guilt trips, no slammed doors or whispered insults, just loud enough for me to hear. I worked in quiet, cooked when I felt like it, watched shows I actually enjoyed. I didn't even realize how tight I'd been wound until it all stopped. But as soon as I started getting comfortable, the calls started again. New numbers, new area codes. Then messages from my sister. They're really sorry this time. They just want to talk. Screenshots from my mom followed. Blurry photos of the twins holding crayon signs that said, "We miss Uncle Dylan." Classic. They didn't miss me. They missed what I did. I waited, watched. 2 weeks after the bathroom stunt, my brother sent a message. Just 3 words. "We messed up." I ignored it. A few days later, my mom sent one that actually made me pause. "Let's have dinner. No expectations, just family. We want to apologize." I didn't believe them, not even a little. But I said yes. Not because I wanted forgiveness, but because I wanted to see how far they'd go pretending. Dinner was at 7. I showed up at 7:20. The house was fake clean, the kind where the counters shine, but everything underneath is still rotting. Camila gave me an awkward half hug. My mom tried to act casual, like we hadn't had a war 3 weeks earlier. My brother poured me a drink like we were old friends. I kept my face still, let them perform. We ate, but they didn't apologize. Not really. Instead, they turned it into a pity show. Things had been hard. The kids were confused. Bills stacked up. The internet kept cutting out. My mom said she pawned her bracelet for gas. Camila looked exhausted. Then came the pitch. Reset things. Move back until we're stable again, my mom said. Family is family. Camila added, take care of the twins, and my brother slipped in. Maybe help with bills, just the basics. That's how it should be. Not one mention of respect or fairness. They didn't want me, they wanted the old system back. I stayed for dessert, excused myself, and this time left small sabotage, clogged toilet, dripping sink, jam under the towel rack. Slow decay. An hour later the messages hit. You're disgusting. Psycho. I ignored them. I was busy signing the lease for my new apartment. 1 bedroom, overlooking a park. Quiet mine. Groceries I chose, silence I owned. Then the unexpected, a promotion. Full title, full raise, bonus. I celebrated alone, steak, whiskey, dessert. Thinking of the me who used to be nothing more than the family's backup generator. The next day, I updated my LinkedIn. That's when my sister showed everyone, and the flood of angry messages started again, like my success was some kind of crime. My brother texted, "You're making money and just let us drown." Camila said, "Must be nice to forget family." My mom added, "You used to be a good boy." Then came the one that made me laugh. "You owe us for everything we did for you." Like letting me live in my own house while raising their kids was some grand favor. I was ready to ignore them until I got a video. My brother filmed himself prying up the floorboards in my old room and pulling out my locked metal box. IDs, tax files, client lists, years of work. I'd forgotten it in the rush to leave. Then came the text, "Maybe come talk to us. Family shares everything, right?" I didn't panic. I called a buddy in cybersecurity. Within minutes we wiped everything. Blank files, corrupted drive, nothing usable. Then I messaged my brother, "You had one chance to be decent. It's over now." The next day, they tried guessing my passwords, even my work login. My company froze their IP and offered legal help. I was untouchable. Weeks passed in silence. Then Camilo went public. An emotional Facebook post painting me as the villain, complete with an old photo of me carrying Ethan. Over 100 comments poured in, until my friends and co-workers jumped in with receipts, Venmo payments, screenshots of my mom asking for money. Even a group chat where Camila called me free daycare with Wi-Fi. The comments turned, and her post vanished 2 days later, but it didn't stop. My old car, which I'd signed over to my brother, racked up tickets in my name. I sent proof to the DMV, and the car got towed. Soon after, he showed up at my apartment, raging in the hallway. I didn't open the door. He yelled until neighbors came out. I called the police. I showed them proof of everything. They asked if I wanted charges pressed. I said no, just wanted it on record. My brother left humiliated. 3 hours later, my mom texted me, "You called the cops on your own blood." That was the last straw. I blocked her for good. I was done being the good son, the free babysitter, the family crutch. They weren't family anymore. They were a sinking ship. Angry, I stopped patching the holes. For a week, silence. Then I heard Camila had been fired. Someone filmed her screaming at a customer, and it went viral. My mom called from a new number, left a voicemail. "We're having hard times, just thought you'd care." I didn't. Soon, letters started arriving. Handwritten guilt trips about family, about the twins missing me. Not one apology, just blame. I tossed them all. Meanwhile, I built my life. New furniture, dating again, weekend trips, even pottery classes. One night I came home, dropped my bag, and realized the silence wasn't empty anymore. It was earned. I was free. They're still struggling, still blaming everyone but themselves. I lived 10 minutes away, debt-free at 25, earning more than I imagined, finally answering to no one. They always called me the babysitter, but the truth is I was the backbone. The collapse didn't happen because I left. It happened because of how they treated me when I stayed. Anyone stuck in the same cycle. You don't owe your sanity just because of shared blood. Walking away isn't failure. Sometimes it's survival. And when I walked away, everything fell apart exactly how it should have.